Hi, everyone. Welcome to Social Glue powered by Restream right here on your feed. You're watching this in a few different places, and this is a special episode today. So I actually went live on like 4 channels. So right now we're live on my Facebook feed, on my Twitter feed, on my LinkedIn feed, and on my YouTube channel. So if you're out there seeing this, you're like, well, Rachel, hi, what are you doing? You're watching Social Glue. Say hi in the comments. Would love to see. I can actually show your comments on screen. I don't know if y'all knew that. It's pretty fun. So if you're like, hey, I want to be on screen, Rachel, go ahead and show me in the comments and I can share your comments on screen. And actually, I want to use that today because in today's show, I'm going to be showing you live streaming 101. And I want to be really clear. The things we're going to go over today are actually really beneficial whether or not you're going live. If you're on any kind of video at all, you're going to find today's stuff really helpful. You might be finding you're on a lot of Zoom calls that are making you put the camera on. You're presenting more on Zoom or things like that. Or you're doing some pre-recorded videos. It's like, well, that's what my company asked us to do and I have to do it. Or you're being told to go live and try live streaming. Today's show is we're going to dive into the 101s of live streaming. I'm talking the very basics. And you're going to see how basic I am with my live streaming. I mean, this might look all really polished. You need to hang on there because you guys are going to actually see into the room in which I am live streaming and broadcasting. And it's not what you think. Maybe it is. Maybe you're like, I kind of have a vision in my mind what it could be. All right. But thank you all for being here today on this very special episode of Social Glue powered by Restream. This broadcast is all the time powered by the tool Restream.io. I have the shirt. I actually think of it like a Harry Potter spell, Restreamio. It's actually Restream.io, which is a pretty normal domain people use for tech and software as service and stuff like that. But I always think Restreamio, like I'm flicking a wand, then I can go live. I can also record videos, but that's what I'm using today. And it's how you're going to see that I'm able to broadcast today's particular show in 4 different spaces at once. So it's pretty cool. So if you're watching this for the first time, Social Glue is a live stream that I've started in partnership with Restream, mostly because I just really love how social brings us all together. I like the news and developments on social media. I always bring on a guest too. This week is special. I am your guest basically and your host. But I always try to bring on social media pros as well. People who are neck deep in social media and maybe just are so busy working on the stuff that they do. They don't have a whole lot of time to be just out there. Hey, I want people to know my name. I'm here to make that happen. So I always try to have guests on the show as well. Plus, we always answer business questions about social media with those guests. And we usually close with a haiku. And we'll do all that today. But again, special episode of Social Glue. We're going to talk about live streaming 101. And I know some of you watching, whether you're on the live or the replay, are live streamers. And so I'd love to hear your tips as well in the comments. Whatever helps. This show is here to help you. So let us commence and get into the first segment of the show, which is the Social Glue news. Now, hang tight with me because we will segue right into the 101 after we cover a few news items in Social Glue news. And so let me bring up our lovely... Oh, I just love the things I can do in this program. It's so cool. So let me bring this over here so we can just switch sides. There you go. So let's cover the first thing. Twitter's been doing some stuff. Okay. So those of you who may not be on Twitter, I love Twitter. It's always been my favorite platform. They're making some developments roll out. So have you guys heard of Clubhouse? I bet you've heard of Clubhouse. So Twitter has been doing something, and they just rolled this out yesterday as far as saying that Android users are now going to be able to be in Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces is essentially the competitor that Twitter created to Clubhouse. Audio spaces where you can just get in there in rooms and chat. And apparently got rolled out very limitedly to iOS users and very specifically to minorities and women of color and things like that. Now they're rolling it out a bit wider. I'm an Android user, so it's good news for me that I can actually get into Twitter Spaces. I still can't get into Clubhouse because I'm an Android user. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of, some days I'm like, but for those of you who are on Clubhouse, but maybe also use Twitter, guess what? They're rolling out to Android users a little faster than Clubhouse is, which I appreciate. I do as an Android user. But also, Twitter is also doing this super follows thing, and we've covered this before, where they're going to actually let Twitter creators who they can put a kind of a gated paid system on some of their tweets to where, hey, you're going to say some really cool stuff that not everybody's going to see, and I will pay you $4.99 a month to be able to see that. So they're going to let you monetize tweets. Plus, guess what? Communities / groups are coming to Twitter as well. Just like we have Facebook groups on here, LinkedIn groups, and things like that. You're going to be able to have groups on Twitter. So that is all coming soon to a Twitter feed near you. Next up, Instagram decided to double down or double up, I guess, on their Instagram live features. Now, before, you could only go live with one other person at one time on your Instagram live. I've been on Instagram Live before, and we've done some guest stuff too. It's fun. But now they've expanded that to where you can have up to 4 people on the same Instagram Live. So that should be really handy for those of you who've been really making some noise on that particular feature of that platform. Make the most out of it, right? Go ahead and go live with up to 3 other friends, and you do get all that quadruple reach, right, of all of your audiences then see that you're all live, and then you can answer questions and things like that. So it should be pretty fun. I imagine we'll see a lot more talk shows, podcast panels, things like that on there. It's double the fun that it was before, because now there's 2 people on there instead of just, or 4 people on there instead of just 2. I can do math. Actually, I really can't. That's why I do social media. So, and lastly, I'm bringing this one up because Reddit has actually been a favorite of mine over the last little bit. So Reddit is going to allow customized avatars, a bit more custom avatars than they had before. Plus, they're going to let you add welcome messages into any subreddits you manage. Now, I'm bringing Reddit up because I've had an account there for 5 years. In the last 2 weeks, I've been a little more active. I actually go visit subreddits like social media marketing and social media and digital marketing. And I've been answering some questions when I see someone asking something. I'm like, oh, I can answer that or give some insights. I had a web development company reach out to me saying, hey, you seem knowledgeable in social. We need to refer clients to people who work in social media. We don't know anybody. And I was like, let me hook you up. So I hooked that entity up with 3 of my peers in social media. That was after 2 weeks of being active. So I'm just saying, if you haven't dabbled in Reddit for whatever reason, might be a good time to do it, especially if you're looking to build business or anything like that. I'm really digging it. All right, I got us through the social glue news segment. Easy for me to say, pretty quick there, but I did it on purpose because I want to get to the live streaming 101, because I really hope this is helpful, because I just see so many people who have maybe started going live because of the pressures of the pandemic, right? You guys would be amazed. I think I saw a stat that since June 2020 of last year, 500,000 brands started live streaming on YouTube that they hadn't done that before. That's just on YouTube, okay? And video has just become this thing where now we're all feeling like, well, we better do it. I mean, I know people said we should do it before, but now you're talking about if you have a brick and mortar business that people can't get to you, or you just got people by virtue of being shut in are like, I need to see and feel and think more things. It's just a really great way to be connecting with people. So we're going to go over that. And real quick, I just want to remind you that if you ever want to be a guest, if you're a social media pro and want to be a guest here on Social Glue, just go visit my website, really.social/social glue. There's no .com in there. It's a custom domain, so don't freak out, okay? But let us get into live streaming 101. So today is a special episode, and I want you to all be able to ask questions in the chat, because I can actually see your questions in the comments, and then I can answer them live. If you're watching the replay, I will not be able to do that, but I will come back and revisit. I will see if you added a question, and me or anyone else watching this live stream could help you. Okay, so let's dive into it. Now, when we do this, I'm actually setting up, because I told you, I promised I was going to show you all behind the scenes here. So I'm actually going to bring onto screen my second camera. Let me make that a little wider so you guys can see. So hi. So I have 2 cameras going right now. One is obviously me talking to you, and the other is over here giving you kind of a profile shot of how my setup is. And I will tell you, it's a humble setup, okay? I do not have a dedicated studio, maybe someday, right? I don't. I have a small house and I need to go live and record videos. And so I may do with what I have. And that's what a lot of you can do. So I want to go through this a bit first. So as you're thinking about live streaming, and this again doesn't have to be about going live. It could be about recorded videos you need to make content wise, whether it's for yourself and your own marketing or own tutorials or own whatever, or you're doing it for a brand. The first thing you want to think about is where you're going to go live. Okay. So this gets a little bit back into social media 101, where it's like, you shouldn't just go everywhere. Well, everybody's everywhere and everyone's my audience. I should go everywhere. No, that's not a best marketing practice. Okay. You do want to think about, well, there's definitely different channels, different social media apps where I can go live. Where should I go live? So let's think about that a little bit. So a lot of the social media apps out there, and I'm mostly thinking of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube as the big five that businesses are probably using a whole lot today. Now, granted, there's other ones like Snapchat and TikTok and Twitch and things like that. But let's kind of focus on those mainstream five. All right. So YouTube, I think is a no-brainer. I think that's a natural place to be, mostly for two reasons. One, YouTube is a known video powerhouse. But two, it is a huge driver for SEO or search engine optimization traffic. If you're putting videos on YouTube and filling in the description and adding cards and links to your website and adding a correct title and tags, you can drive so much traffic organically to whatever website you're trying to push people to, or just to get people to look at it. So YouTube's a no-brainer. Facebook might feel like a no-brainer just because it is so huge. So many people, I mean, it's got the most users of pretty much any other platform. Maybe not as close, YouTube is a close second, I think, or close to it. But you may be thinking, well, Facebook. Now, let's think about that, though. If you are more of a business-to-business, B2B structure, maybe Facebook isn't your thing. I mean, B2C, business to customer, for sure. That Facebook would be a natural thing, and to be able to reach out to people. Instagram as well. If you're looking more B2B, LinkedIn might make more sense. Now, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of this because some of these apps make it very easy for you to go live. You can go live on Facebook from your phone or your desktop. Like I could open Facebook right now and say, I want to go live. I've got a webcam on my laptop. I've got a microphone on my laptop. I could go live without any trouble on Facebook. I could also do that on LinkedIn with my phone. Very easy to go live. I don't need anything extra necessarily to go live. YouTube and LinkedIn are two examples of platforms or channels where you do need a little extra help. For instance, the only way I'm able to go live on LinkedIn right now, where I am live, is because of this Restream.io tool that I'm using. There are other tools out there, but it's an encoder. It's basically saying, look, I'll capture your video as you're making it. I will push it out to LinkedIn, but there's no way for me to meet that. There's no way for me to be able to directly live broadcast to LinkedIn without an encoder like this. And hello, Jell. I see that you're asking if anyone has a good oatmeal recipe. Not covering oatmeal today, but hey, go for it. I can show everybody that if you guys have good oatmeal recipe, Jell is looking for one. And hopefully I'm saying your name right, so I apologize if I am not. But we are, again, talking about going live. So think about where you're going to go live. And based on where you want to go live, like I said, LinkedIn, you're going to need a tool to do it. And by the way, not everybody has LinkedIn Live access right now. I feel very special that I do. I've been able to go on LinkedIn Live as for my own brand and on my own feed. I've also been able to go live on a couple business pages, which has been great. It is limited right now. But again, you can go live on YouTube, and that's pretty much for everybody as long as you know how to go live through an encoder of some kind. So those are great. All right, let us switch gears to talk about live streaming gear 101. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. I think I should have added a caption actually saying water is definitely something you're going to need if you go live streaming. So let me just take a drink. Here we go. All right. So when we're talking about live streaming gear, and this is where I'm going to actually put on the main screen my side view. So right now I'm letting you see pretty much all the gear I'm using. So we're talking cameras, microphones, and lights. Now, I already mentioned you can absolutely go live with your laptop. So I'm pointing right now to, I've got my little laptop cam up here. Any laptop's going to have a microphone of some kind that is an external mic that you can use. It'll pick up your voice. Okay. Also, I'm pointing over at my phone. That's a great way to go live because you've got a really good camera usually on your phone. Plus, you've got a decent mic. You're using it for phone calls anyway, right? So it's there. So you already have, if you've got a smartphone, you've actually got a pretty good camera. Like I said, I'm using mine as a second camera today so you can see my profile shot and see how I keep pointing at it. It's trying to focus on me over and over again. However, I do recommend making an investment in a good camera that might be, it's an external camera you can plug in anywhere. So I'm pointing right now. This is a Logitech. It's actually a Logitech C920 920 camera. That's a bit older. I got it about 5 or 6 years ago now. So nowadays you might see the Logitech C922 or something newer, but it's just let me just pick it up here. I'm just going to kind of bring it over so you can kind of see it, see how it looks. And so the blue little indicators tell you that it's live or it's capturing my video right now. But it's got a little clip. You can adjust it. It's actually got a microphone on it too you can use, which is handy. Again, that might even be better than like an external mic on your laptop. So I'm going to put this back up here and hopefully there we go. So I recommend getting good camera. And actually really quick, I'm going to put in the chat. I have a link. I went on Amazon and kind of gathered some different resources you can use. If you click that link, you're going to see the stuff I'm talking about. You can just order it right on Amazon. Very easy. So just to give you some help there, but please feel free to ask in the comments or share any gear that you're using too. And I see Tracy, thanks so much too. Yeah, I love that you're bringing that up. So Tracy mentions in the chat that this is great because she's having to do more live streams at the studio and for recitals. Heck yeah, especially if you're not able to have people join in person and they want to. Graduations, recitals, special projects or performances. You need to have a way for people to be able to see that. Church services and things like that. So Tracy, great point because all these things are important for people. All right, so we're still talking about gear. So let's talk about microphones, right? So I mentioned that your laptop probably has a very decent microphone. I'm actually going to do up to a 2-shot here again so we can see both of my screens because I don't want you to feel alienated. No alienation. We're here. So microphones. I absolutely recommend using a microphone whenever you can. Now look, I mentioned there's a microphone on this camera. I'm looking at my C920 Logitech. I don't use that as my microphone. I certainly could, but it's currently about 1.5 feet away from my face. Okay. Anytime you have a microphone situated like that, if it's far from your mouth or from whoever's speaking, you are going to need something pretty specialized to be able to grab just you and not any other ambient noise going around the room. So yes, there's a microphone built into that camera. Now, the microphone I use, I adore this thing. I love it. I think I got it for $35 about 4 years ago. And then everyone started podcasting and I think they doubled in price. But this is an ATR 2100 USB microphone. So I'm actually going to show you. It has a USB. It's a micro USB input right here. And so it connects via that cord and then goes to a regular USB, like the rectangular one. I know I'm doing very layman's terms here. That actually plugs right into a USB input on my laptop. Easy as pie. But you'll also notice it's got, if any of you are familiar with sound equipment and soundboards, it's got an XLR input as well. So those are kind of the ones, the microphone cords you might be more used to seeing at concerts and performances and things like that, a little more high grade professional. So it's got that capability too. If you have a switcher or a soundboard that you want to hook this up to, it would be able to do that. And I actually have told you guys I'm low rent. I'm actually using for an audio so I can hear myself in my ears and so I don't echo. I'm using an old earbud. So this is just a little 1/8 inch audio input jack, and I can put that in the bottom of this microphone. And it's actually a broken earbud because half of it broke off on the cord. You can actually, it's right there, it broke off, but I can still hear on the other half. So that's my in-ear monitor. I told you all I'm low rent. You can do a lot of this stuff without really trying. So you can do that stuff with earbuds that just have the regular little 1/8 inch input jack that have been around forever. So I love this microphone. I have actually invested. I've gotten a couple other different microphones. I got a Blue Yeti. I don't like it as well as this. It's doable. You can totally work with it. And that also is a USB microphone. So you can use a Blue Yeti. I think I also got I can't remember the name of it. I got some kind of handheld mic that is just battery, no cord and anything. And you can just kind of records audio files onto an SD card. That's fine too. I love this thing. I will never give this up. I hope it never breaks. It's amazing. It's my favorite microphone and I sound darn good with it. But the reason you need a microphone, even if you're using that lovely, trusty smartphone of yours with a nice camera, yes, it has a microphone you can speak into for phone calls and things like that. If you're going to use that, I still recommend using at least some earbuds or something. Even Bluetooth is fine where you have a microphone close to your face. The sound is going to be infinitely better. And I'll tell you what, anyone watching your live streams, even if the signal goes wonky and the video is bad, if your audio is good, they will forgive a lot. As long as people can still hear you, they're often more likely to keep with your content rather than signing off. So audio is huge. Microphone, I absolutely recommend it. Now let's talk about lights. This is important and what a lot of people don't realize. So a lot of you are probably home. I know I am. And you're trying to go live or record video from wherever in your house makes sense. You're like, okay, it's somewhere quiet. Maybe I've got a nice background or whatever, and that's a solid wall or I've got a curtain and what have you. Now, your house has windows most likely. You have to be careful with windows. So you never, ever, ever, ever want to live stream or record a video where here's the camera, there's a window. Unless you have a blackout curtain over that window, that light is absolutely going to create you into a silhouette. The light in the room needs to always preferably be in front of you or at least over you. Okay. Even better if it's not coming in from the sides. So I'm going to actually take my camera. I'm going to show you all. I told you. So we have these canister lights. We have really lame drop ceiling tile in this basement. We're in a basement room. And I have my husband's reading light across the way, kind of pointed up at the ceiling. You can see it, and it kind of bounces down on me. I have no lights behind me. Let me put this back up. Sorry about the Blair Witch Project movement there. I have no lights behind me. I am completely front lit, and therefore you can see me way better than if I had a light on behind me. Now, there are ring lights. You guys may have seen those. They're on stands with a big ring, and they're beautiful. I actually want to get one because you can make it into a very white, bright light or kind of a warmer light, and you can usually adjust. It's got a dimmer switch on it. They're fabulous and really great. And if you ever do watch live streams or videos on YouTube, and if you can just see a ring of light in each person's pupil, they're using a ring light. That's how they're doing that. But it makes a huge difference. At some point when I get a ring light, I'll show you all what that difference is. What I've got right now works, and I just showed you. We'll talk about it in a minute, like where your studio setting is. Whatever works. I mean, if you can do it to where you're lit well, you're mic'd well, and you got a good camera, those three things can be enough for you to make a really solid live stream. And if you look at success, some of these YouTube creators have, that's pretty much all they were using to start. And then as they start getting more successful and popular, they can maybe increase their tools and their gear and upgrade a little bit. So cameras, microphones, and lights. And again, I put in the comments a link to my Amazon list of things for live streaming gear. Feel free to go check those out. You can also let me know if you had some questions about anything. And I know what I know, but I don't know everything. There's going to be other people who are like, oh, I totally know this is better, or I like this, or this is the one I rely on. So by all means, and I just remember it's in the comments there. I added the you might as well just go to the comments. That link is just pretty much impossible to try to follow right now. So lastly, let's talk about you. Okay. And I'm actually going to turn this side camera off for a moment. Let's talk about you for a minute. I want you all to get over this. Oh, I can't go live unless I'm perfect. Please don't be perfect. That is the last obstacle that should keep you from doing any kind of video or even turning on your camera during Zooms. I think we're all pretty much recognizing that everyone is not perfect. And if anything has demonstrated this to us, it is the pandemic because suddenly now we're seeing newscasters. And if I try to think of someone who might be the most perfect people on a live video, it would be journalists who are on camera for live news broadcasts, right? They've got the hair, they've got the makeup, they've got the outfit, they've got cameras moving around, they've got teleprompters for crying out loud, right? I am not using a teleprompter. I would like to get one, but I'm talking to you right now off the cuff over some planned bullets. But those would be the people I would think, okay, they have to be the most perfect. But how many times, and one of my favorite pastimes is watching YouTube blooper reels of these news broadcasters, because I love seeing them try to broadcast or do the news from their house. And then you've got the cat meowing, you've got the kid rolling in with a homework question. Maybe you've got a spouse rolling in with no shirt on. I'm assuming, just whatever. But, they got pajamas and it's like, oh my gosh. We are getting a sense of how human people are. And there's seriously, that's the best thing ever. And I say that to you to encourage you that you're really just, when you go live, you are speaking to other humans. They have body odor just like you. They sweat just like you. They are going to have like camera technology faux pas just like you all the time. They experience it all. So please don't let perfection be the thing that's keeping you from turning that camera on, getting that microphone going, and talking to any audience you need to reach on here. And look, I think live streaming has really brought us full circle from an age back in the olden days of yore, when salespeople were actually going up and knocking on people's household doors in order to sell a product or a service. I don't personally remember that time, but I know it was real. And yes, telephones helped kind of with salespeople doing that, or people making connections, but a lot of times it was about making a personal connection and showing a face, assigning a face and a voice and a person to a product or a service. And then we got all this digital stuff, all the .coms things and everything like that. And granted, that opened up so many doors for accessibility and reaching far audiences farther than the next town over. Where, hey, I can't drive that far, but I sure as heck can get them on my website and send them an email. Great, right? It had a lot of awesome things and innovation that technology added to us as we communicate to each other. One thing I loved when live streaming first came back was that it brought back that facial thing. It brought back that in-person, hey, I'm a real person talking to you. Many of you, if you follow me or are friends with me on any of my social, you can get a sense of who I am from what I post. But man, there's just nothing that beats you being able to see me talking to you right now, how I emote, how I get kind of wacky, or I have a wacky sense of humor, or I get really self-deprecating, or I roll my eyes, or I just am like, oh, well, that happened. You get more of a sense of me as a person. And there's just an automatic credibility factor there. So that's why I so encourage you. You are good enough to be on live stream. You're good enough to be on camera on any video. And I promise you, there are people out there who will think you're interesting. It doesn't matter how non-interesting you think you are, they're going to find you riveting. You're going to relate with people out there. Whether you think you are or not, you will. I promise you. So that on-camera presence is what I want to just really try to hammer home to you today, is that's something, don't let yourself get in the way. Okay. And I'm not saying you have to be an extrovert or someone who just loved getting up in front of the class and presenting your project or your diorama in school. Nobody liked that. And I will say again, it is true. Nobody's really good at public speaking. Now, some people do it a lot and they're great at it, and that's fine. I don't do that well. I mean, I can kind of go off the cuff and stuff. You try to get me up to do a 40-minute keynote. No, I would have to rehearse it, and then I wouldn't like it because I'd probably be like, oh God, this sounds really rehearsed and produced. Meh. I dig live streaming. I like it. And because I'm just trying to be myself, and I know that you know that. And let's face it, if anyone out there is going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you totally coughed on air. All right, well, go find another live stream then. It's fine. I'm human, and we're all human. So please don't let that be an obstacle. Another thing too, I just want to mention, one of the hardest things for people who do start videos is where to look. It's once you get used to it, It's easy to remember and it becomes a habit. So I'll tell you, and actually, let me bring back up my side camera because I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right now, you can see my whole layout. I have my actual like little my news slide screens over here, so I can kind of have those up. It helps me to display them on screen. But in front of me, you'll see I've got my laptop right here. Now I am pointing right now. This is the Restream live studio I'm looking at right now. So that's where my face is. Now, when we look in mirrors or we look and find ourselves on camera and there's a monitor, where do we look first? We look for ourselves all the time. That is human nature. We just talked about being human. That's what people do. You want to see what you look like. How do you look? Is the camera catching a good angle? Did I put makeup on? Oh my God, I didn't know my hair looked like that, or whatever. And I don't like how this outfit looks. We all get into that instant judgy mode on ourselves. Now, what makes live streaming and video a little bit different is it has been in the past, and this took practice. It would be very easy for me to just keep looking down at myself on the monitor. But notice what happens when I do that. Do you all see what's happening? I am looking at my laptop screen right now. I'm not looking at the camera. And you all are not looking me in the eye right now, are you? I'm not letting you. I'm looking down at my laptop. I'm not looking you in the eye. And that looks like I'm looking down, or I might be dozing off, or I'm just not engaged. Now compare that to this. I'm looking you in the eye, camera eye, yes, but I am looking you in the eye. I am engaging with you. I want to make a connection, and I want you to know you're the most important person in my room right now. It makes a huge difference. And yes, it takes practice. It totally takes practice. I have grown to love this camera lens I keep looking in because I know all of you are out there in that camera lens and I want to talk to you and I want you to hear what I say and I want you to be helped by what I say. So it's really important that I stay connected with that and make sure I'm not just like, yes, but what do I look like? It's a very selfless act, right? Live streaming and just putting yourself out there and saying, I'm just going to talk about stuff I know and here I am. Take me as I am, and I hope this is good content for you to digest. But as long as I'm making that content, you know that I'm authentic and trying to make sure I'm driving that point home. So I am looking down actually because I'm making sure and checking the chat. Oh, and I see Brigetti is one of my favorite live streamers ever. You all, she is a pro. She's been doing this for so long and for such great projects and purposes, very philanthropic, and I love her. She is a master at live streaming. So Brigetti, thank you so much for being on. I love seeing you in the comments. That's awesome. Lastly, let's talk about where your live streaming is in like your physical space. So I will show you again and where you can see. I'm in the corner of my bedroom right now. I actually am a little embarrassed because I'm pointing right now. You can see on my side camera, I have shoes and socks and flip-flops over there on the floor I didn't clean up before this live stream. You're seeing my bedroom. My point being this, and let me just take my side view off. So now you can see where I'm sitting right now. I'm basically sitting with the corner of my bedroom behind me. Now I picked this spot because it's a solid wall. The purple is pretty cool. I like it. It's neutral enough. It's not really like my son's room is painted red. I wouldn't do that. That's just a little bit too of like a whoa power color for me. I like the purple. Now these shelves have not always been here. I actually put these up before I started the Social Glue show, and I just went to a craft store and spent about $75 just kind of finding some little knickknacks I could put on here that feel like, hey, that kind of exudes what I try to convey on my live streams. So I did put a little investment in there, but literally, let's just be self-deprecating again. I will show you, there's my bedroom. Here's what I'm seeing right now as I look out over this vista of my studio. So I don't have a dedicated studio. I hope to change it, like I said, in the future, but right now that's what I got. So seriously, use what you have. I promise you to. It's really worthwhile to put that little bit of effort into your backdrop, into like where you're sitting and stuff like that. You want to be comfortable, but you also kind of want to not be distracted by the stuff behind you. But I promise you, if your content is sincere and good, people are going to care more about that necessarily than they will about what's behind you. Okay. But also don't have a window right behind you because that lighting thing we talked about. Practice, everyone. This is my final point. Practice live streaming. It is going to feel very weird once you start. You're going to feel like, oh my God, this is weird. Why? And let me just pull up my second camera here. Why am I not looking down at, I need to see myself, but I know Rachel and other people have said, I need to look at the camera. Okay, this is weird. And I'm trying to do it. And oh my gosh, I'm worrying about, my cat just came in the door. Or my kid rolled in. Do we all remember the BBC interview guy where his whole family rolled in on Skype? It's hilarious. But it was such a good example. And honestly, the harbinger of what we are today. It's like, what do you want? I still have stuff to say. Life's going to happen around me because everyone's home. So stick with it. Practice. I promise you it gets easier. And look, I will share with you. When I first started live streaming, I was not doing it for a brand. Oh, heck no. I was testing things out. I think I went live the first few times on my own Facebook feed. And I think I did it just to friends. And then I eventually was like, oh, I can just put public. It's fine because you get more eyeballs that way. And of course, I got addicted to that. But it's actually possible for you to go live on Facebook and just have yourself see it, or a single one of your friends could look at it. And just the act of practicing it and then maybe watching it and saying, oh, I see what Rachel meant about looking down and not at the camera. I had my face too far from my microphone. I need to make sure that I have that right here kind of touching my chin. And I forgot that I didn't hook that up or whatever like that. So practice, and I promise you'll get better at it. It's going to start feeling very cozy. And you'll kind of start looking at live streaming like, no, I've been live streaming. I've live streamed already. And it's crazy how as soon as you do start live streaming regularly, people will start looking to you saying, oh my God, you have a handle on this. Is great. What do I do? You can start helping people in turn. You could be doing one of these videos about helping people how to live stream. And some of you watching this are my peers in social media and live streaming, and you're doing that already, which is fabulous. We should have more people on video who feel comfortable. If there's nothing else, I'm doing this how-to for you. I want you to feel comfortable. There's literally no reason you can't feel comfortable if you're doing a video, live stream or otherwise. So please practice. Please share links of where you practice and things like that, and let us know. Let us know where you've gone live streaming or you tried it. Ask people for feedback. And we'll all be very friendly and nice and supportive in how we give you that feedback, because I just want you all to feel like you can do this, and you can. Okay. So I'm going to say goodbye to my second camera and take that offline. And again, I've been able to do all of this stuff through the power of Restream. Yes, I have some of my own tech, but you're seeing this on 4 different channels: my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, because of Restream. I'd be able to go out all 4 at the same time. It's pretty fun. I want to remind you all to, so I do this show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I don't always do it on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook today because I was like, I really wanted to be helpful with this. Typically, this show is only broadcast on my LinkedIn feed, on my YouTube channel, and on my Twitter feed. So on Twitter and LinkedIn, I'm at Rachel Moore RS. So the RS stands for Really Social, which is my side hustle. So Rachel Moore RS, and on YouTube, it's Really Social Solutions. You'll find it there, and I'll pop the links in the chat and in the post as well. But please go try to live stream. Give it a shot. At least flip that camera on a little more often on your Zoom calls or whatever you're doing, and get comfortable looking at the camera, probably on your laptop cam. But if you have an external cam, do that too. Use your video conferences to practice this. Okay. And like I said, in the comments, I've got the link to my Amazon list. If you want to go check that out, I am more than happy to help answer any questions. I would love to take a look at your live streams too. But that is a wrap on today's. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot one thing. We always close with a social media haiku. Let us not forget to do that today. So I'm pulling it up on screen right now. So today's social media haiku, I crafted this one. So I put really.social as the source, but I wanted to make something that fit. Livestream 101. Be yourself. Look at the cam. Get a microphone. And those are the basics, everyone. That's how you live stream. And then it's just a matter of the stuff you're going to share with the people that are watching you. And it's going to be fabulous. So do visit again, and make sure you watch the show Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have some future social media pros on the show. We'll continue to answer questions about social media and business and how to make your social media for business successful. We'll have more haikus, more news, and probably some more tips on just how to be live streaming pros. and how to be comfortable with it. So thank you all for watching. I so appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy day from Social Glue, powered by Restream. Bye, everyone.